Hello, friends and neighbors. I got up this morning wanting to encourage someone to be not weary in well-doing.
Welcome to A Word for Wednesday. Thank you so much for joining us. Each Wednesday you will find Boggs Family Ministries is here with our host, Davy Boggs. Having you along with us is a wonderful addition. Now, let's enjoy together A Word for Wednesday.
Thank you, Brother Devin, and thank you for joining us on another episode of A Word for Wednesday. We are so glad to have you. Can I read to you from one of Paul's letters to us in the Bible, 2 Thessalonians chapter number 3. I just want to read one verse, but I want to give you a little context of this verse. He starts the chapter by encouraging these saints in Thessalonica to glorify God, and it reminds them that we've been delivered from unreasonable and wicked men, and that the Lord is faithful, and that the Lord will establish you, and that the Lord will keep you. And he said, and we have confidence. Paul said, I have confidence in the Lord touching you, concerning you, that you're going to do, and you have done and will do the things which have been commanded you, and that the Lord will direct your hearts into the love of God and into the patient waiting for the return of Christ. And then he instructs them to be workers, not to be busybodies, but to be workers, to be about what needs to be done to sustain life and to promote Christ in this world. And then he gives them this instruction right in the middle of this: be not weary in well-doing. Brethren, be not weary in well-doing. And I think you and I understand how easy it is to become discouraged, to become weary in doing well. Doing well is not always rewarded immediately. In fact, sometimes it seems like it's not rewarded at all. But our payday doesn't come here necessarily. Our payday comes later. It reminds me of a story I read many years ago of a farmer whose property went all the way around. On three sides, it went around a small country church, road front, and all three sides, and even across the road, belonged to his farm. And he had a falling out with the church. He got sideways with the people of the church, and he decided, I'm going to show the church people. And so he, that year, while doing all his farming, he plowed the fields around the church and across the road from the church on Sunday, just in spite. He planted those fields, those particular fields, on Sunday. He cultivated and sprayed those fields on Sunday, just to spite the church. While they're in there having church, he's out there with his tractors and equipment, making noise, stirring up dust, covering their cars in dust, hoping to provoke a reaction from the people. And then finally, that fall, he harvested all those fields on Sunday. And he sent word to the pastor and to the church that some of those fields around the church, those fields were his most productive fields that year on the farm. In other words, you don't know what you're doing. You're in there worshiping on Sunday. I'm out here planting, plowing, harvesting on Sunday, and God is blessing me abundantly while you're in there having church, worshiping your God. my God is blessing me abundantly for working while you're having church. And the pastor said with love and with grace the following Sunday, he said, may the dear farmer, our neighbor, may he find one day that God does not settle his accounts in October. In other words, work on, but we are not going to be weary in well-doing. God does not settle his accounts in October. God settles his accounts in eternity. Listen, friend, you may be weary from doing well. You've been honest. You've been a hard worker. You've been a faithful Christian. You didn't lie. You didn't cheat. You didn't steal. And all the people who have total disregard for morality, they're prospering. And it seems like you're floundering to keep your head above water. Be not weary in well-doing. You got family members that do whatever they want to do, disregard the laws of God, disregard the Bible and what they've been taught of the Bible, and they are climbing, they are prospering, and the world is applauding them. And here you are, feel like sometimes you're barely making it. Can I repeat the words of Apostle Paul to you today? Be not weary in well-doing. They have health, they have wealth, they have approval. You are struggling financially, you are struggling physically. You have no one, it seems, in your corner cheering you on. Be not weary in well-doing. Other people's children who have had no regard for God, never taken them to church, never taken them to Sunday school, and their children are prospering, their children are professionals, their children are healthy, they've married well, their kids are doing great, and your kids are struggling. You took them to church, you prayed with them, and now they have doubts, now they have disappointments, and now they're not even sure they're going to serve God and follow in your steps and what you've taught them. Let me encourage you, mother. Let me encourage you, dad. Be not weary in well-doing. God does not settle his accounts in October. Now, I wish no evil on people who disregard God or parents who teach their children to disregard God. I wish no evil on them. I don't want them to suffer for what they have done. I really don't. But I don't want to suffer either. I don't want to suffer on the other end. But if we suffer with him, the Bible said we shall reign with him. Listen to me, friend. When God settles his accounts, I pray he has mercy and grace on those who have not been completely obedient to him. I pray for their mercy. I pray for their salvation before it's too late. But when God settles his accounts, he'll take care of that. It's not mine to take care of. And he's going to take care of his saints. He's going to take care of those that have been faithful to him. I sent this to a friend just the other day. God is faithful to remember your labor of love, what you have done for him, the sacrifices you have made for him, the persecutions you may have endured because of your faith or because of your faithfulness or because of your commitment to God. You may have endured some criticisms. You may have taken on some harsh words. You may have been railed upon. They may have treated you with such horrible disrespect, but God is going to bless you in the end. I know oftentimes David prayed against his enemies. I haven't been able to do that, not since Jesus' words, long after David, pray for them that despitefully use you. And so I don't pray that my enemies have judgment. I don't pray that they fall into a trap and God destroys them. I have often prayed that God would bless them with mercy and grace and help and favor right when they needed it. I've had some men that have been pretty rough on me in times past. I did not resort to angry words or violence of any sort. In fact, I have done my best to pray for them, not because I'm a saint, not because I didn't want to respond with words, but I found myself thankful that I have received mercy, and I wanted to extend that same mercy to others. And I have prayed for those men, and I have prayed for their sons. I have prayed that when their sons have fallen into adversity, that God would send someone and even allow me, if the opportunity arose, to extend a hand of mercy and a friendship and a smile, because I don't want to be weary in well-doing. I want to do well all the way to the end, because doing well is the best life. In doing well is doing well for Christ and according to morality and Scripture and just good sanctified living. Does that pay the best? Maybe not. Does it send the best karma on into the future? No, I'm not worried about karma. But if I do well, I'm going to hear God say, well done. Brother Bill Houston used to say, if you're going to hear well done, you've got to do well. You can't hear well done. We've been lazing around and not doing very well. And he also said, anything that's well done has been on the fire for a while. Life is going to bring disappointments. It's going to bring troubles. It's going to bring trials. There's going to be some fire. But oh, saint of God, we're going to hear God say, well done. Well done, thou good and faithful servant. Come on in. Enter in to the joys of the Lord. You have been faithful over a few things. I will make you ruler over many things. I don't know that I desire much to be a ruler over anything, but I will take God's reward over Satan's payday any day of the week. I don't want to cheat. I don't want to do things in spite just so I can have a heavy crop in October. Phooey on that crop in October. God doesn't settle his accounts in October. God settles his accounts in eternity. Let me encourage you, my dear brother and sister, be faithful into that which you have been called. Is there little applause where you are working? Work on anyway. Is there very little notice or reward where you are working? Work on anyway. God rewards faithfulness. One more time, friend. Be not weary in well-doing. Keep right on working. And that is my word for Wednesday. I will see you next week.
That is our word for Wednesday. We are so glad that you've spent a few minutes with us today. If you've been touched by today's episode, please share it with your friends and family. We welcome your questions or comments below or by email. You can find the email address in the description, along with a link to Mile Markers, the website for Boggs Family Ministries. Also, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Thank you again, and we hope to see you next Wednesday.
Ciao for now.